Hello guys, we have a Saab 9.3, 2003. The starter does not work. Let's test this out real quick. So I woke up this morning trying to start my car and it didn't work. And I'm gonna show you what that sounds like. So the reason why I'm having a couple of problems is that I'm unable to start my car because I have a immobilization problem, but it's not exactly the immobilizer. It's the steering column unit. I just haven't gotten around to fix it yet. So we are going to jump it from the battery positive to pin 30, which should complete the circuit and send power directly to the starter itself. Now, I don't suggest doing this all the time because this is probably what messed up my starter. But let's go ahead and let's jump it because the battery's probably dead a little bit, and then we are going to see what it sounds like. So got the little jump box here. We're going to hook one side up to battery negative. We're going to hit the positive side up to battery positive. Okay? And then we're going to take our jumper wire. We're also going to hook that up to battery positive. Right? And then we're going to take our handy dandy lead right here, or jumper wire, and we are going to poke at pin 30, which completes the loop. And when it hits, it's going to make a whizzing noise, which you know that it's not engaging. Bad starter. So we're going to change out the starter because it's not engaging all the way. Alright, let's do it. Alright, so we got the car jacked up just enough to get underneath to get to the starter. First things first, you don't want to hurt yourself, you don't want to hurt anybody, and you don't want to weld your fingers to the starter. So what you're going to do is disconnect the negative battery terminal. I've already got it loose, so I've disconnected it, got it off. Just in case it connects again, I'm just going to take off the positive one as well, because sometimes it'll slide and it'll touch. So just to make sure, I'm going to disconnect both terminals. And there we go. So we got both terminals disconnected. I'm going to shove this out the way. Okay, so now we know that we're safe. The battery's disconnected, so we're not going to shock anybody. Nobody's going to wake up or fry themselves. We got the car jacked up. We have a jack stand underneath the car to make sure that we're safe. The car is a manual, so I put it in gear with the e-brake up just in case, because we're on a slight incline. Okay, so all right. The starter is located right below the power steering reservoir, and underneath that, it's right underneath this hose. So if you follow that, it should be right down there. And another simple fact is it's usually located in between the engine and your transmission or gearbox, depending on whatever. But it's always where it connects. So it's going to be, there's my gearbox, there's my engine. It's going to be right here because the teeth of the starter have to touch the flywheel. So we're going to go underneath, we're going to check it out. Alright, let's go.
Okay, so let's see what we got here. As you can see, my starter is right here. Get some better light on that. We are looking at right here. Oh, you see? I don't even think I need a starter, guys. But just because we are going to take it out anyway because I want to inspect it, my starter is actually loose, which is not good, which is terribly bad. But we're going to, first I'm going to tighten it up. We're going to tighten up the starter and see if that fixes the problem, which it should. And if that doesn't work, we're going to put in a new starter after we inspect the flywheel and everything, okay? So if we're aimed right at here, like we should be. So we are going to tighten this bolt right here. And that is a Torx. That's a 14 Torx.
I can't see.
We are going to tighten it up and then we're going to check everything, okay guys? So let's try that. Like I said again. Oop, forgot my light.
That's good.
Find some real metal. Ha, that is so bad. I don't know how it got so loose. But we're gonna fix that remedy real quick. Or we're gonna remedy that right there. So, alright. Okay. I got my tools. 14 Torx right here. We're gonna tighten this up real quick. So let's tighten this up. Okay. Sometimes it takes a little wiggle. All right, we got it out. So now let's shake it. That starter seems much tighter. So let's go ahead and get the battery hooked up and let's see if it starts. Okay, guys.
All right, so we're gonna hook the battery back up. Battery's hooked back up, but I gotta take it out of gear first before it jumps 10 feet. I'm just gonna get my jumper cables hooked up.
It's just basic real life problems.
If you know how to fix it on the fly, or if you have knowledge, or you at least have the tools, you can do it yourself and save yourself a couple $100, maybe $1,000, depending on the vehicle. So just trying to give people knowledge on Saabs because there's not a lot out there. One, they don't make these cars anymore. They're pretty good vehicles when they work, like most cars, but obviously wasn't working right and still not working right. But as you can see, I have my lead hooked up, or my jumper wire hooked up to battery positive, and we're gonna go right to pin 87. That should complete the loop. So this pin goes all the way to the starter. It's gonna close the starter loop, and it's gonna send power to it, and it should turn over. All right, so let me make sure the car's on. So we have the car on, right? And we are just gonna see if it turns over. And voila. So my starter was loose. That's all it was. But we are still gonna at least take it out and inspect it, okay? We're gonna take it out and inspect it and make sure it's good. because we don't want, you know, a bad starter that could potentially break off later on and then cause the same problem. So we need to make sure that the starter is good. So we're gonna inspect. Let me show you the other starter so I can show y'all exactly what I'm talking about. Don't mind, this is a junkyard starter. I just needed a starter. But all right, so how it works is you have these two pins right here. This one is connected to the starter. This, I'm pretty sure, is the power supply to it, or maybe it's one of these on the solenoid. The solenoid closes, completes the loop, and it goes directly to the starter. The starter is ground itself. And what I mean by ground, it's the negative side of the battery. So it grounds itself to the engine, and all it needs is power. So when you send power to the solenoid and it completes that loop, this will kick out. And I can show you that real quick with my jump box. So here's how we're gonna do it. So I should be able to put this on the starter, and I just gotta make sure I have the right one. I'm pretty sure it's this, or maybe it's this one. As you can see that it's spinning, but it's not kicking out. So maybe I got a bad starter. What it's supposed to do, if it's a good starter, it's supposed to make contact and this kicks out. This little pin right here is supposed to fly out. That sends into this flywheel, and that causes your car to crank over. So when this little pin kicks out, that means that obviously it's good. So potentially, if this didn't work, I probably would have put in a bad starter. Or maybe I just don't have enough power. Because I don't have enough power. Because if I had enough power, it should kick out and you'll hear a loud click. But obviously my car is on. We're gonna turn the car off, we're gonna take the starter out, and we're gonna inspect it just to make sure everything's good.
One bolt that's really hard to get to, but I'll show you that later. I'm gonna just get the bullshit out of the way. So another stupid one is gonna be this right here. There is a Torx, it's a 14, if y'all can see. So we're gonna take it off. And that was the whole reason why my starter was loose in the first place, because this Torx right here.
I'm gonna get to it.
See it? Sorry. But there is a Torx 14 right here, and we're gonna break that loose. This shouldn't be too tight because I just put it on. So if you, okay, so the hardest one to get to actually is on top of the starter. All right. So there is a bolt that is on top of the starter, and it's a Torx as well. So it took me a while at the junkyard to get it off, and it was kicking my tail. So once you find it, you can actually fill it with your other hand, because there's a slot right here that you can fill and place it on. But I'm gonna just do it, you know, because I got eyes on my fingertips and I should be able to line it up. And I got it lined up, I think. No, that's something else. Maybe I don't have eyes on my fingertips.
This is my starter right here. I don't like the sound of that. We got, sounds like something shaking around in there. Who knows what that is, but I know for sure that this starter is working properly. I just wanted to check out the teeth because it wasn't hitting properly. So if I scrape that off, it might have a little wear on it, but there might be like a little bit of shavings in there, but you can't see it that well. Okay, but this starter does work properly, and just for giggles, we're gonna put the other starter in just cause, and we'll see whether it works properly or not. So let's go ahead and drop the other starter in. If it doesn't work, oh man, but if it does work, then we're good. So let's go ahead and do that real quick and get it done.